Um, yeah, you are. I'm gonna actually move you guys on the Roll20 page to that bit. The civilization is at warp. I'm gonna, if you guys can grab your tokens and just move them to that page, just so we know who is there doing
Oh,
what. If you can't, let me know and I'll move them for you. Because
oh, I
sometimes,
can't move it at the moment.
okay, I'll grab it. Yeah, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. It's just kind of random. Let's see. I will also
Yeah,
put.
you probably move me to.
Okay. And I'll also put the captain of the civilization, Benny Chang, there. Although, unless you guys are super brave, you're probably not gonna have like a whole lot of interactions with the captain of a ship. But he is available if you would like, um, for whatever reason. So the mission that training instructor Merzek, let me grab him, has informed you is that you guys were not told. You guys were told in the courtyard, like, hey, get your shit together, get a duffel bag. It's gonna for a couple weeks. You're gonna be off planet, and then whatever happens at the end of this, you're gonna be considered graduated, basically, or graduated for this year, basically. There's not gonna be any um, written exam or anything. It's basically like if you succeed in this mission, you're going to next year, and you don't got to worry about anything else. So, you guys are now on the Nebula class ship. You don't know where you're going. You only know that you're heading in the vague direction of the Bajoran wormhole. And let me also move you guys to the map so you can kind of see where you guys were in relation to the Bajoran wormhole. So the dot there, that white dot, is the Bajoran wormhole where all the trade routes are extending from. Um, Academy Annex Gamma Starlight 1 is there. So you're like less than 15 light years away. Still takes several hours, sometimes days to get there, but um, yeah, it's sorry, I'm just thinking of two things at once. Um, but you know that although you're going in the vague direction of the wormhole, you're not sure if that's actually where you're going. You're probably not going into the Alpha Quadrant. And I would say when you're going in the vague direction of the wormhole, it's more, I would say, northeast. So like you're heading, almost like you're heading to Parada. You're not actually heading directly towards the wormhole. Um, so having been on the ship for several hours, possibly days, is there anything anybody wants to do? Any role play scenes that anyone wants to do before we continue to basically, the actual events that will transpire?
Yeah, I would like to meet the captain, if at all possible.
How do you want to meet him? Like, you happen to see him in the mess hall and you walk up to him, or do you want to go like to the bridge, or do you want to go to his quarters? Like, how do you want to meet him?
I would like to go on the bridge and just kind of meet him and like offer my services to the engineering.
Okay. I will say that Merzek has not given you guys any orders not to go to the bridge. But he has said, like, be careful. There are a lot of areas on the ship where the crew might not want you, and he's kind of left that up to your own discretion. So you head to the bridge. You're on the turbolift. Um, does anyone want to go with Thiessen, or is he going by himself?
Not going.
You want to go too?
No, I'm not
You're
going.
not? Okay. Is anybody going with him? All right. So Thiessen is going by himself, and the doors open on the bridge. It's similar to a Galaxy class starship, but a little bit more compact. And then you get on the bridge. There's probably like a dozen officers there. Um, Ti
Oh,
Merzek.
I
Go
said
ahead.
Cravo would go.
Okay.
I said Cravo would go with him, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I looked at another program for a second, and so the pusher stopped working.
yeah, it does that. Okay, so yeah, Cadet Karava's with you. And like I said, when the doors open, it's kind of like a small version of a Galaxy-class starship bridge. There's about a dozen Starfleet officers kind of uh, going to and fro, doing various things. The captain is seated in his command chair. The Exo is a Vulcan woman sitting in the Exo chair. Um, the Vulcan woman, the Exo, has seen you before the captain has, and she stands up and looks over to you and says, "How may we help you, cadets?"
I'm Cadet Thizan, and I just kind of wanted to offer my services in engineering, if at all possible. This could be a little bit of a trek, so I kind of just want to do a little bit of extra work. So if you guys need anything, let me know, please.
The captain and the Exo exchanges looks, um, and then the Exo just says, "I see." And then she looks to Cadet Krabba and says, "Are you also specialized in engineering, Cadet?"
No, I came here to find out would it be possible to find out the status of my two friends? They were injured at an exercise a while ago.
They exchange glances again, and this time Captain Chang does kind of stand up and he says, "We have no knowledge of your friend's condition, but once we are made aware of it, we will, of course, let you know, as will your training instructor, most likely."
Thank you.
You are welcome. And the captain sits back down. The first officer stands there and then looks to Thiessen and says, "If you wish to assist with engineering, please report to Impulse Reactor Room 2. Deputy Chief Engineer Johnson will be there to give you instructions."
Aye, sir. Thank you.
She just nods and sits back down. And y'all leave?
Yeah, and I head to the thing that you just said.
Okay. Um, is Padar or Runa doing anything specific, or are y'all just kind of chilling, waiting to get to you wherever you're going?
Mostly waiting.
Brenna's probably in the Brenna's probably in the science lab, just doing some genetic research.
Okay. What are you researching about?
Said.
Okay.
More or less about clones.
About clones. Anything specific?
Basically, she'll probably be looking at how two DNAs are meshed together.
So more like genetic
From opposite
splicing?
species.
Kind of like genetic
Yeah.
splicing? Okay. There are a few species out there that have kind of had relative success with that kind of science. I mean, the Dominion obviously is probably the most obvious one. Their genetic, I mean, most of their species that serve them, Jem'Hadar Vorta, are, clones or genetic creations of some sort. There are a few other species out there. In fact, you think that's probably why the infamous Allegiance probably targeted the Dominion for, to join them, just because of their knowledge of genetics and everything like that. But yeah, as far as like what the Federation has on file for like Starfleet and Federation research and science, not a whole lot, because that kind of delves a bit into the augment eugenics territory, and Starfleet definitely wants to avoid that as much as possible. Um, but yeah, do you have a specific question that your character is looking for, or are you just kind of curious in general?
I'm just curious, so because knowing her personal history with genetics, yeah, she's definitely curious about it.
Okay. Um, Probably 12 hours after you guys have been doing a lot, either boring work in impulse reactor room or lab work or just hanging out in your quarters, you hear on all of your comm badges training instructor Merzek say, this is training instructor Merzek to all cadets and Lieutenant Runa. Please report to the auxiliary conference room 2 on deck 2, which obviously you don't have to go through the bridge to get to that conference room, but yeah, it is basically pretty close to the bridge.
I put away the medical journals I was reading and head off to the conference room.
Okay. I'm assuming everybody heads in that general direction.
Yep.
Yes, I head in that direction.
Okay.
I'm about to murder a spider.
Okay. You guys head in that general direction, and when you get there, Captain Benny Chang is kind of sitting there. T.I. Merzek is standing kind of behind him a little bit to his left, and Merzek kind of gestures to the table, or the chairs around the table, and says, "Please have a seat." And as you guys take a seat, Merzek explains why he's called you here and why you guys are on this ship. He says, the Saphir. There's not much known about them other than they're very technologically advanced. And they waged war against the Dominion for a few years and came to a stalemate, which seems to indicate that they are extremely powerful. However, now that the Dominion has joined the infamous allegiance, although albeit maybe a little reluctantly and maybe even trying to get out of that agreement, the Saphir are in a bit of a pickle because they know that once the infamous allegiance's reign in the Gamma Quadrant is stabilized, the Saphir is going to be their next target. The Saphir have invited the Starfleet to a diplomatic summit on near one of their planets. They also requested non-experienced diplomats, and he kind of gestures to you guys, and he says they are not completely in favor of trusting people such as myself or Captain Benny Chang 100% because they aren't sure who among us may have loyalties to the infamous. They do believe that the younger generation are far less susceptible to being corrupted over time. And I actually agree with that assessment. There is, of course, the idea that maybe the infamous allegiance had someone join Starfleet Academy, in which case there's nothing we can really do about that. But we can, at the very least, mitigate that by having a mixture of inexperienced diplomats who have not been jaded by the moral grays of diplomacy with the more experienced diplomats such as myself and Captain Chang here. So we are headed to one of their bases for this diplomatic mission. There is another thing, however. We are about halfway between their starbase and the Bajoran wormhole. And we are dispatching a runabout to investigate the wormhole as it is putting off an inordinate amount of chronoton radiation. I would like a couple volunteers, preferably scientists obviously, to go on this mission to scan and perhaps study what is going on with this wormhole. Starfleet has informed us that nobody is allowed in or out of the wormhole until we have figured out what is going on and relayed back to Starfleet Command if it is safe or not safe to enter the wormhole. And he kind of looks around and he says, do I have any volunteers for the wormhole mission? So, just out of... Yep, go ahead, Matt.
Verna will put her hand up and say, "I'll go."
Okay.
Because it's best off I stay away from the diplomatic talks with a 10 feet pole.
Fair enough.
Uh, she goes, if you actually look on my record, on my personal record, you will know why I'm staying away 10 feet away.
Are you confident in leading the away mission, Lieutenant Runa, or would you like myself to go with you? T.I. Merzek asks.
I'll be fine. Lead the mission. It's just I know for a fact that if I attend this summit, uh, they might not be so susceptible to us.
I understand. Just so everyone is aware, the wormhole mission is the one where you may be in the Tuesday game or Wednesday game. The diplomatic mission is not. So if you want to be in the Tuesday or Wednesday game, either one, then you can join Lieutenant Runa to the wormhole. If not, the diplomatic one is probably the one for you.
Kroger's not really a scientist, but I don't know. If I wouldn't mind joining the Tuesday game, I guess. So I'm not too sure what to do.
Well, I have a solid background. I have a solid background in science, so if the lieutenant will have me, I will accompany you to the wormhole mission.
Yeah, good idea. And he turns to Karava and says, "You never know. We might need a security officer."
In fact,
Security.
Merzek says, I was planning on sending security regardless, so it is good that you volunteer, Cadet Karava. And
I volunteer as well.
Merzek nods. Alright, well that's half of my half of the adventure that I don't need to do because the other players aren't here. Alright, so you guys are, as the civilization heads for the base, you guys are ordered to meet Etchashar, who is going to go with you as soon as I find his token there, I guess. The 5 of you are going to go meet on a runabout, and you are going to veer away from the civilization in mid-warp and head towards the wormhole. It shouldn't take you more than an hour to get there because you guys are, like I said before, passing pretty close to it on the way to the starbase. That being said, I'm going, unless there is anything that you guys want to do on the civilization, I'm going to jump you guys to the runabout interior. Let's see. Etchashar.
I guess Kroger might worry about what if the profits are okay, I guess.
Yeah, that is definitely worth looking into. Alright, so we have Etchashar. He is probably going to be... Who's driving? Well, Etchishar's got a 4 in con, so I'm going to put him up front. Who else has a 4 in con? Anybody? Nobody? Okay.
Not really.
Alright, so then I'll have... does anyone have a 3 in con? I'll have the Karava as a co-pilot because you guys might need weapons. I mean, you might not, but you know, you also might.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Nope, mine's a 1.
all right. So I think that was it, right? Just five. Just those 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. All right. So you guys veer away. Like I said, if there's anything you want to do on the civilization before that you guys part ways, now is the time to let me know. All right. So you guys are on the runabout, and if you guys want to come up with a name for the runabout, you're more than welcome to. But for now, I'm just going to call it the runabout. And you guys are heading towards the wormhole. Like I said, takes less than an hour to get there. Does anyone want to do anything on the way there? I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I would like to be in the engineering and just like, watching, the flow regulators and maybe making a little bit of an adjustment here and there.
Okay, fair enough. Speaking of which, where is the engineering section on this damn thing? I don't think it has one, to be honest with you. But I'll put you kind of in the middle, kind of just looking at like the impulse reactors or something. I don't know. But science officer, would you like to run any scans?
Of course. I don't.
Yes. You can. The doctor can run some scans.
Well, both of you
Allow
can.
the cadets
It's
to.
fine.
Reason science?
Yep. Nice. I'll roll for the ship for an assist. If you want to assist Runa, you may as well. Alright, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4 successes. I'm going to give you 1 momentum for that. How many players? 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Okay. Alright, so you guys are at 1 momentum. I'll write that. And yeah, your scan comes back that there is too much chronoton radiation emitting from this wormhole. You're not at this distance. You're not able to figure out why that is. The wormhole is open, so you can, on your visual scanner, you can see, the bluish purple vortex of the Bajoran wormhole open. You don't see any chronoton radiation visually, obviously, but your scanners are telling you chronoton, chetron radiation, all kinds of radiation just spewing out. What do you guys want to do next?
Hmm.
By the way,
Uh.
never mind. I don't think. I was gonna say the science officer can ask a free question, but I don't. I think the science officer has to do the main role to do that.
I say over comms to the engineer. Double check. None of our systems are going to be affected by
By
and
the
I list
radiation.
off by the radiation and everything.
I will do. I'll get back to you as soon as I find out.
All right. That's gonna be a reason or insight
But
engineering, difficulty 1. I'll roll for the ship as well. So that's. Let me see. I need to fix your. How's. Wait. Hold on. Let me.
What did I do?
No, I'm just trying to figure out why yours isn't rolling like everyone else's. Because when I roll it, it does, but not when you roll it. Either way, 15 is, let's see, reason and engineering. 15 is not a success, but a 2 is a success. And the ship got you a success. So that's 2 successes, so you guys are up to 2 momentum. Basically, as you're kind of looking at this, the readouts, the chronoton radiation isn't really affecting it any much. I mean, it is affecting it a little bit because it's radiation, but it's not like in any way going to be dangerous to the ship. It might be dangerous to the ship if you fly into the wormhole and sit in there for several hours, but just like at a distance making scans, it won't be that bad. Also, you're still at warp. You haven't even arrived yet, so you still have a lot of time. Well, not a lot of time, but you still have some time before you have to worry about any kind of radiation issues.
So I press my comm badge and I get a hold of Mac's character and let her or him know.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We should be fine relatively for a little while, but if it gets any worse, just let me know. I'll see what I can do. Maybe we can, I don't know, use the deflector in some sort of way, some sort of fashion.
Yeah. I'll keep you updated.
Thank you.
Alright, so you guys, is there anything else you want to do before you arrive at the wormhole? Because the ship's probably going to come out of warp in about 10 minutes.
Who's who's currently on board the ship? As in, who are the characters besides Carava?
So it's Cadet Karava, it's Cadet Padar, the Cardassian medical cadet, it's Cadet Thiessen, the Andorian engineering cadet, and Lieutenant Runa, Max science instructor. Also, you have a Andorian NPC, Etchishar.
I guess I'll ask Kadar. What's he think of the situation? What's happening? You know, what's his opinion on what's happening?
Sorry?
Oh, I was gonna ask. Yeah, I'll ask Kadar. What's his opinion on like this situation? What do you think about the prophets? Do you think they're okay or kind of thing?
Well, the prophets are basically out of time and in time at the same time. So I think the chronoton radiation could certainly have something to do with them. Whether it's arming them or something that they wished, that's what we need to figure out.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Okay. And the runabout, like I said, is about to arrive. So Mac, if you want to give any orders.
Basically, Runa says, Cadet Karava, keep a watchful eye out just in case.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And Doctor, make sure to keep a watchful eye on the scans as well.
Yes, sir.
When the ship comes out of warp, it's at a relatively safe distance. Scans coming back saying more or less the same thing, but I would say probably about 30 seconds after you guys come to a full stop, the scans tell you that the radiation being emitted has increased a lot. However, it's still not to the level that it's going to cause any physical damage to anything on your ship. I mean, your shields are. Do you have shields up, Mac, or are you guys shields down?
I would order the shields up,
Okay.
just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, the shields basically prevent anything from getting in. So, however, the Cadet Padar, as you're looking at the scanner, you do notice that the chronoton radiation seems to be being directed from the wormhole at the runabout. So instead of it being like spraying out, it's more like it comes out and then it forms into a direct beam, at the runabout. So it seems to be targeting the runabout.
I inform Lieutenant Mack of the fact, Lieutenant Runa of the fact.
Weird.
The chronoton beam could be directed by the prophets.
Yeah. Maybe it's a sign of hope, or
All of a sudden, the radiation beam stops and the wormhole closes.
okay. Oh, it's off.
No more scans. Normal. I mean, the residual radiation that it had already sprayed at you is still out there, but there is no more radiation besides like normal background radiation from where the wormhole is. Where it would normally be.
We know what. Yeah. Would like if there is normal radiation, normal galaxy universe radiation. Is this specific radiation we isolate this specific radiation or not?
Are you asking the GM or the science cadet?
I'm asking the GM.
Uh, what do you mean isolate this specific radiation? Like, what are you trying to figure out? Because it could be something you
If
could just spend
there's,
a momentum to get.
is there a specific message inlaid with
Oh, a
the
message? No.
radiation?
There's no pattern like that. The only pattern you're able
Okay.
to kind of figure out is that the wormhole intentionally targeted you and then shut down, basically. That's all you know for right
Okay.
now.
Okay. I say to the medical officer, keep a watchful eye out there, and I tell Cadet Thiessen that the radiation is directly if there's any more you need to anything else. We hold position here.
How long do you plan on holding position here? Because several hours will go by and nothing's going to happen.
We're being told to do scans of the wormhole, so we have to wait.
Okay. 8 hours pass, and I'm guessing by now someone's going to bed. Who's going to bed and who's staying up to do first shift, basically?
I'll be staying up.
Okay. I just need one more person, and everyone else can go to sleep.
I'll be staying up.
Okay.
I'll keep an eye on the wormhole.
Alright, so the first shift will be Thiessen and Padar, and Runa and Kravo will sleep for, what, 6 hours and then wake up and change shift?
Yep,
Okay.
we take it in shifts.
Alright, so during that 6 hours while you guys are sleeping, nothing happens. So like an 8 hours pass, then another 6 hours pass. I think that's like 14 hours. Nothing happens. Um, Deezen and Padar, you guys are running scans, checking the systems, diagnostics, and everything looks normal. Even the chronoton radiation that was kind of jettisoned in your direction kind of disperses and becomes even less than harmless, to the point where you guys could easily lower your shields and to save, conserve energy, and it would be no problem. And then once you guys go to bed and the others wake up, 4 more hours pass without anything happen. So for a total of 18 hours, nothing happens. And then all of a sudden, the wormhole opens again, and it stays open, but it does not. No radiation comes out at all. So Lieutenant Mack and Cadet Karava, you guys are on duty. What do you do?
That's weird. There's no radiation.
Maybe we should scan again, I guess.
Okay.
I'll scan again.
You double check your scans, and it's same thing. The wormhole's open, but there's nothing coming out, radiation or otherwise.
Okay. Where's I say, Carrara, can you take us in for further closer scan? Take us
Yeah,
in.
I'll give us a try.
Amazon character sheet.
Okay, I was just gonna double check it if it's the Amazon one.
Yep.
And
Let's see. Ooh, you don't have a focus that applies. Ooh, 0 successes. So he actually, you know what? I'll say difficulty is 0, but the complication range is 3. Ooh, he barely missed that complication range. Did not miss that complication. So you move forward. And by the way, you guys get another momentum. So I think that puts you what, to 3? 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
So you move forward, running scans, everything is fine. And the actually, you know what? I'm not even gonna spend that complication yet. I'm just gonna take that as threat. Everything looks fine. Um, how far do you move before you stop? Bruna? Or how far do you
Uh,
tell Karava to move?
I tell Karava to move into mid-range,
Okay.
so
So you're not going in the wormhole,
we
and you're
can.
not. You're basically just getting close enough to.
I'll get close enough. Go closer. To go in to the wormhole and say,
So
on our end, it's perfectly fine.
so are you ordering him to go into the wormhole?
Yep.
Or ordering her, I should say. Okay. So Cadet Karava, now I need you to roll again. Well, I'll roll for you. Control Con, unless Runa wants to fly for you. Actually, you know what? If you guys want to say that Etchishar is groggily making his way to the front, he can roll, and he's a lot better at it than Karava is.
Yeah.
Uh,
Towards the engineer.
when you get to the front, Cadet Ptar, you see, or the cockpit, and get to your seat, you can see that you are definitely in the wormhole.